of all, I would really like to thank you all from, on behalf of my mother, my siblings, the whole family, really. It has been incredible, the warm, all the recognition you have given our family in this difficult time, through flowers, through thousands of emails that we have to go through, just through these warm thoughts, attendance at the funeral. I don't know how many thousands of social media posts. It has been absolutely incredible, and it has, we are just so touched. We are so blessed to be part of such an amazing community of people such as you Oriflamians, not just in this room, but I mean in the whole world. It's incredible. So thank you. So Jonas would have turned 82 in August. And according to him, he was only halfway through his life. No wonder he was still so engaged in his businesses. He was still so passionate about his work. He was super excited about the future of Oriflame. He was still so inspired by all of you and by all the people he came in contact with. Yeah, so he was, I'm losing my thought already. And personally, he was training, on a personal level, he was training for the over 90s in golf, because he had realized he wasn't no longer going to make the over 80s, so he was persistent in planning to try to go into the PGA Senior Tour 90s. I don't know how it's going to work out. But basically, he had no plans on slowing down. That was for the old, he would joke. So he left us without warning 4 weeks ago. And although we were not prepared, we got a complete life with him. Lots of great moments, memories, so much love. But more importantly, he got a full life filled with so much excitement, surrounded by so many people who supported him and who loved him. So rather than remorse, we really are super, super grateful for all that he's given us in the form of memories, lessons, values, and we really want to celebrate his life and his legacy. Jonas was always so proud of his Oriflame, of his amazing top leaders of the world, of his fantastic Oriflame employees. He gave him so much energy to be amongst Oriflame people. He was inspired, he got excited, he just felt so much joy. And maybe that's why he decided to spend the last full day of his life here at the GSO. We started up in room 5-3, where we gathered the whole family to discuss his foundation and how it can contribute to positive change and development in the world. Then we got to go down to the SRI, where we got a lovely presentation, and he was so proud of what you have accomplished with our skincare and all the exciting things that are in the pipeline in the future. And then he got to go up to the photo studio and see how a photo shoot of a fragrance happens nowadays, which definitely wasn't many years ago. He got to experience that. So he was just all smiles and was always so curious and interested in what was going on at this office, and always just excited to talk to all of you Oriflamians. So again, I want to thank you to all of you who were here that day for making his last Oriflame visits so memorable. So my father was a very modest and humble man. He didn't care very much about what other people thought about him. Sometimes to the distress of my mother, who always would fret that he always wanted to leave the house wearing his favorite sweaters that had holes in the armpits and holes in the elbows, and sometimes his collar half in, half out, and his favorite shoes of over 10 years that he wore for all occasions, whether it was golf, fancy dinner party, or the office. And when my mother would try to tidy him up a bit before leaving the house, he would always say, "Christina, entrepreneurs do not have time to be pedantic." But he usually let her clean him up a bit. But the one thing he never let her do was to throw out his favorite Oriflame, or actually his favorite bag of over 30 years. So as you can see, there's no zipper on it anymore. There are holes just about everywhere. There's pegs and golf balls in it. And he used this bag. It's got the first Oriflame logo on it. It's actually quite a cool bag. He used this bag for everything. He came with him to the office. He kept his valuables in here. He took it to the gym. And it went with him on his last trip abroad. The week before he passed, he went to Israel with my mother for a week, a destination they had always wanted to see. And of course, it came along, again to my mother's distress, who just felt you cannot be walking around with this kind of a bag. It just doesn't look good. And she had previously tried to throw it out almost twice during these 30 years, and he'd always just gone to the garbage and taken it out. Again, not caring what people thought. And then during this trip, my mom again said, "Jonas, why don't we get you a new bag after this trip?" And he finally had agreed that, okay, when I come home from this trip, I will give this one up. I will go to the office and I'll ask for a new one. So I brought this bag with me, actually, because I don't know where the accessories team is. But I have a request, and that is to create a new one. It can have a functioning zipper, preferably, but and maybe it can be a good recruitment driver. But in his memory, I think it could be a nice. So I wanted to share just a few more words about what I believe made Jonas the inspirational, daring, yet humble leader he was. And I want to share this because it was his and Robert's personality and values that lay the foundation for what this company is today and for what we stand for. And I want to remind you of these values so that we can embody this going forward, embody these values when we continue forward. So despite being a huge supporter of our products, he loved our products, he had no clue, even after 52 years, what the difference was between a lip liner and an eyeliner. So product details were maybe not his strongest capability, but he was, however, exceptional at combining entrepreneurial ambition with relentless optimism and an enormous faith and belief in his people. Always being so approachable, always being so kind. And I think this is why so many people loved working for him and working with him, because he truly believed, he trusted, he listened, and he empowered those around him to do the right things, but also to learn from their mistakes. But always supporting them and making them believe that his contribution, making them believe that their contribution was important, because it was. As one of his employees wrote about him in one of these letters that I've managed to go through, he wrote, "Jonas was always looking for business opportunities, but first of all at people. And that's how he built his companies." To me, he would often say every now and then, "Anna, give people the benefit of the doubt. Some people will let you down, but the majority will not." And I think this was in his blood, to believe in people. But I also think he was inspired by the only banker who believed in him and Robert when they started the company in 1967, and they were looking for loans because they needed money. And every single bank turned them down. Nobody believed in them, except for one man by the name of Arne Ögren, who at the time was working at SEB, which is one of the largest banks in Sweden. And he had said to them, "You guys are out of your mind. You've both got double university degrees, you've got good jobs, and you want to go sell lipstick at home parties? I just don't get it. But if you are willing to quit your jobs, and if you believe in this so much that you're willing to quit your jobs, then I'm going to believe in you." And he gave them a loan of 100,000 kroner, which is 10,000 euro. That was all they needed. And that ultimately was a value that I believe Jonas took with him, to believe in people. Even outside work, he had an enormous belief in people. Again, to the distress of my mother, he would often leave the doors to his car unlocked, always. And he would always say, if someone does want to steal it, or someone does want to break into it, it's probably just to sleep in. And if they, against all odds, want to steal it, then they probably need it more than I do. So this belief in the good of people was always there. Jonas was bold and daring in his leadership. Privately, it showed itself more in the sense that he just didn't like rules, and he could take some unnecessary, he liked taking risks, quite unnecessary ones, petty ones like, parking illegally and taking a grape or candy from the supermarket and not paying. He had always had this rebellious streak as a child, and it just never seemed to disappear with old age. So professionally, his boldness was far more inspiring. He had an eye for seeing opportunities and daring to make something of those opportunities. He was a true visionary. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, November 1989, he was the first to say, "We're going into Eastern Europe." And everyone around him thought it was a bad idea. Everyone thought he was putting the company at risk. But he could see the opportunities that was waiting to fulfill millions of people's lives in getting a better life. And so he dared, not only once with Oriflame, but he dared again when he founded his second company, Medicover, in Eastern Europe. And although there was always the risk of failing, he would say, even to me, Anna, success will never come if you don't dare and if you're afraid of failing. And then, since he was this positive person, he would also always say, but failure is good. It's the best teacher you'll ever have. Now, Jonas and Robert has, as you may know, they faced numerous crises and challenges throughout their years. The list is actually quite long, but challenges and failures, it's never been anything that has stopped them, as you know. They have been exceptional at always finding ways around this mountain that they can't climb, or just getting back up, or just starting anew. And the word, as you know, give up, has never existed in their vocabulary. And in this business, your business, it's all about overcoming challenges every day. Some are within your control, some are outside, but I know that Jonas was incredibly proud of all of you for year after year after year, finding ways to tackle those challenges, get back up again, and never give up. I think Jonas often said in his speeches, and I think he actually said it at one of his last speeches here, but he used to say, we work together, we fight together, and when we have problems, we support each other, but we never, ever give up. I don't know if you remember, but... So, some of you may have been wondering, now Alex maybe calmed you all, but if we're wondering about the bid to take the company private and if there's anything for you to be worried about, and the answer is absolutely not. We are more committed now than ever. Jonas was so excited about this bid, super, super excited. He knew it was in the best interest of the company. He knew it was in the best interest of you. And regardless, in the end, what happens with this bid, we are 100% committed to keep running this company with our #1 goal of fulfilling people's dreams and supporting you. And my job will be to carry on Jonas' legacy together with my family and continue together with you, and together we keep working towards the #1 goal of becoming the #1 beauty company selling direct, which we will. If Jonas had been here today, he would have congratulated you, as you know, for your fantastic results, for being the top leaders of Oriflame. He would have thanked his fantastic employees for your hard work, your continuous dedication and contribution to this company. He was truly passionate about fulfilling people's dreams. He was passionate about creating opportunities for people all over the world. And he was passionate about giving back to those in need and in society as a whole. I am very proud of who he was. I'm very proud of who he was and what he managed to accomplish during this life. And I know if he would have been here, he would have wanted to encourage you all to go do great things and to fulfill your dreams, because he truly believed in every single one of you. So in true Jonas spirit, I want us to stay positive. I want us to stay hungry and to never, ever give up. Thank you.